Hello there and welcome back to Traveling McGee. And today I am in Tioga County, Pennsylvania, and I'm getting ready to explore two state parks here in the Pennsylvania Grand Canyon region, just outside of a small little town called Wellsboro. We're going to be hiking around and seeing what we can find, so stay tuned. So, like I said, I am here in Tioga County, Pennsylvania, and I'm getting ready to explore two state parks here on the Pennsylvania Grand Canyon. And right now I am in Colton Point State Park. It's kind of on the west side of the Grand Canyon, Pennsylvania Grand Canyon. And I'm getting ready to walk, it's called the Barber Rock Trail. And you can see there's a little plaque here. The parking lot to the trailhead is just here behind it. From all the reviews that I have read, it seems to be a very handicap accessible trail. It is mainly flat and graveled over here, so this should be a relatively quick and easy walk. But a little bit of history about this park. This is another CCC, Civilian Conservation Corps state park, and it was laid out in probably the late 20s and early 30s. And again, like most state parks here in north central Pennsylvania, logging was the main industry at the time, especially at the end of the late 1800s. So this was an area that was pretty much devastated by the logging industry. And once the logging industry slowed down, there was kind of this vacuum of wealth and jobs, and so it left behind a lot of these small little logging towns. And I'll be exploring one a little bit later in this video called Wellsboro. But really, this state park it's relatively small compared to other state parks. There is a small little campground here, picnic tables, pavilions, different places that you can rent. The main hiking trail for this state park is called the West Rim Trail. This is a prime leaf peeping state park here, and I was hoping to catch some good colors here, but I am coming too late, and unfortunately a lot of the trees are bare now. But this is a prime location in Pennsylvania to come and take pictures and videos of the fall leaf changing colors. It is just stunning here if you can catch it at the right time, and it differs from year to year, but it is a beautiful thing to see. All right, and it looks like we have come to the end here. Relatively short trail, but wow, what a view. Let me get out closer here. Oh, did I ever mention in any of my videos that I don't like heights? That's okay. Look at this. So basically what we're looking at right here is, you can kind of make it out. There it looks like a road, and then you can see the river there to the right of it. But that is the Pine Creek, and this is what is known as the Pine Creek Gorge. And then the road to the left of it is probably one of the most well-known rail trails here in Pennsylvania. It's called the Pine Creek Rail Trail, and that extends for, I'd say, just about under 50 miles. All the way down through this canyon here. It is probably one of the most scenic rail trails in Pennsylvania. It is very, very popular, especially in the summertime. There are campgrounds and different picnic places that you can stop, and it draws a lot of people. It's a huge tourist destination for up here. Little hikes like this definitely bring in people too. And I think what's really interesting is you can see where a lot of the rocky outcrops towards the top of the canyon are really exposed, and it's so beautiful. Now, just imagine this area just blooming with reds and oranges and greens and yellows. It's just a stunning thing to see in the fall, and I'm really bummed that I missed it. But this definitely still makes you feel small because of just how high up you are. At most depths in the canyon, there is, I'd say it's between about 800 and maybe even 1,000 feet. I'm not sure what it is here. We're kind of on the edge of the canyon, or towards the end of the canyon, so I don't think we're quite up that high. But the farther you go down south, the Pine Creek just really continues to drop down, and you get some great elevation up here. But this is called Barber Rock, and I don't see a rock unless we're on it. You can see there's kind of like this platform here, and then there's a bench. And it looks like there's some trails here off to the side. Maybe I'll walk down there, see what that looks like. Here's another slightly unobstructed outlook here, but it's definitely not uncommon to see different types of wildlife here. This is a great place for viewing vultures and different types of raptors, falcons, and you will definitely see some bald eagles here from time to time. It's certainly not uncommon to see white-tailed deer, raccoons, squirrels, chipmunks. The occasional black bear is spotted here. They do offer hunting in both this state park and in the state park we're about to head to. But once again, another little view with my face in it. Probably be the thumbnail picture. But again, this is the Barber Rock Trail, and I think I'm saying that right, here in Colton Point State Park. Now I'm going to head over back to the van and take a look and see what the campground looks like and see what else we can find. Well, unfortunately, the campground area is locked up, I guess, for the year, or for the season anyway. There are several other little overlooks here in the park itself. And if you keep driving past the campground area, there's a little kind of a loop road that takes you past a couple pavilions that you can rent, and I'll show you what one of them looks like. But I want to show you this other lookout here. This is something that's pretty cool. I don't know if this is active during the summer months or not, but it looks like an old water fountain. And an area where maybe you could, I don't know, maybe a dog could drink or wash off your shoes, I'm not sure. But here's another lookout. And Barber Rock would have been, I believe, somewhere more over that way. Whoops, where's my hand? Somewhere more in that section there. But again, another great shot of Pine Creek Gorge and the Pine Creek, and you can see the rail trail much better now. Actually, if you look way down there, I'll zoom in, you can see a bathroom, and they are kind of dotted all along the rail trail for people that are biking, so that's pretty cool. Now the other state park, which is called Leonard Harrison State Park, I'll back up here a second. You can just kind of see it up here on this ledge. I don't know if you can kind of see, there's a fire tower up there, right there, and then the rest of the park is right there where that little platform is. So not too far away, but I find it so fascinating how different the architecture changes from, you know, what's available to you in the surrounding areas. There's a lot of this beautiful stone here, even on the floors. But you have this amazing hearth fireplace here. I mean, just really, really cool. This would be a pavilion that you could rent for a party or a picnic or family gathering or what have you. There's another one down here, which seems to be a little bit smaller. Restroom up there too, which looks really old. I'll walk down here though first. Yeah, this one is much smaller, but cool nonetheless. Another really big fireplace. I'm not sure what these windows are for, but how cool. Pretty old building for a bathroom. cool though. Just right here on the edge of the trail. It's a little bathroom. So, looks like there is another overlook here. And again, this is along the West Rim Trail. So this is a portion of the trail that runs through the park here. But another good shot of the canyon. Also, while I'm here and thinking about it, this Pine Creek is probably one of the most premier places in Pennsylvania for fishing. It draws a massive amount of people here throughout the year for trout fishing, fly fishing. There are really great opportunities all up and down the Pine Creek Gorge for fishing. So just wanted to give that a little plug. Here's another little better view, I guess you could say, of Leonard Harrison State Park, which is just right here on this ledge. Not that far away, probably about half a mile if you were to go straight across. But unfortunately, you got to go back down, cross over the creek, and go back up around that way. But anyway, this has been a small, quick little tour of the west side of the Pennsylvania Grand Canyon. And now I'm going to be crossing over and heading to the east side. All right, well, now I am here on the other side of the canyon. This is Leonard Harrison State Park. And this park is much larger than Colton Point. There's a lot more resources here. They have a nice little visitor center here behind me, which has some more information. There's park ranger office here as well too. It's a little bit nicer of a park. It's not a lot of newer facilities here. They do a lot more work here for the tourists that come. But right now, I'm about to check out their overlook here. So let's see what it looks like. As you can see, it's much more pristine here, but quite the drop off. A little bit more windy on this side, which is absolutely beautiful. But you can see where we just were over at Colton Point. I'll zoom in here. That is where we just were. You can kind of see the ledge that we were standing on. And I'm actually the only person here right now. I don't know if it's, well, it is a Tuesday and it is a little bit cold. But I think, you know, once the leaves all drop, you know, the tourist season really ends for up here. Now both state parks are open year round. Just incredible. Another good shot of Pine Creek. It's a little diagram of what you're looking at. Got some birds flying. Oh, some crows. But really good shot of looking down the gorge. A cool little pavilion here, but a nice, really nice park map. So we are right here. So this is the main viewing platform, parking area, and you can see where the campground is, which I'm going to try to drive back there and at least see it. But this is Leonard Harrison State Park. It's a national landmark. I did not know that. Huh. But you'll notice on each one of these, Turkey Path here and then Turkey Path here, they are basically trails that take you from the observation area down to the actual Pine Creek. They're quite the trek to get down there. I think they're about 1.5 miles each. and quite the descent to get down to the bottom. Then you have to walk back up or hike back up. But if you're adventurous enough, they have one here, and then they also have one over at Colton Point. So if you're ever visiting either one of these two parks and looking for a good workout, I would definitely suggest those. And here is the National Landmark plaque. Hopefully you can read it there. But just designating the Pine Creek Gorge as a registered natural landmark back in 1968. And also, this is the small little wayside for the turkey path, which I just mentioned, letting you know that it's 1 mile down to the canyon floor. Oh, 1 mile. Oh, I thought it was 1.5 miles. But either way, just letting you know that it is a strenuous and steep walk, and you should be properly prepared. Again, this is the more touristy state park out of the two. So there are a lot of tour buses that come here. There are a lot of people visiting from other countries. There are a lot of people that come here in the summer and in the fall. And so out of the two parks, this one caters more to the tourist crowd. So before I head over to the campground area, I'm going to walk this little trail here, the Overlook Trail. Looks very short, maybe about 1 mile in total. But it should take me out to this viewpoint called Otter View. So let's go see what that looks like. So this is pretty cool. This is an old incinerator that was used by the CCC when they were here. This is probably where they burned a lot of their trash and refuse. They would have had a big fire down underneath there and maybe a chimney stack up top. But pretty cool nonetheless. Inside it looks brick lined. But yep, probably where they burned a lot of their trash and things of that nature. Okay, here we have it. This is Otter View. But again, another really good view of the rail trail there as it continues to meander down through the canyon. And that continues on for about another 40 miles. Snakes through the canyon, along the river. Pretty cool. Now it looks like we head up this way. It should make one big loop. We'll see. All right, here we are back at where we started. There's that way. We just came up this way. There's the incinerator again. So here's another shot of the visitor center, which is closed. And then you also have some public restrooms here. And then just through that doorway, or that hallway really, leads you out to the main observation area. As you can see, like I said, only person here. So I'm gonna head back to the van and then see if I can get back to the campground, at least maybe drive through it, see what that looks like. All right, well, the campground here is also closed up for the season, but I was able to walk in here just a little bit. And here you can see we have some non-electric sites. Pretty decent spacing. This is number 2, 3, a little short one there, number 4 I'm assuming, and it kind of continues up that way. But not too bad. Pretty decent spacing. Typical state park campground. Fire ring, picnic table. You have a trash hook. Nice spot here, number 1, not too far from parking area for the observation area. Looks like there is a bathhouse there. And I'm sure if you probably continue up this way, there's probably electric lights, maybe on the other side. Yeah, it looks like on the other side of the bathhouse. Go walk over there. Yep, and here are some of your electric lights. And again, bathhouse here. I'm not sure if that's the only one or not. Oh, that's cool. So this is typically for dishwashing. So you can put your dirties or clean dishes up there and wash your dishes there. So that's typically common. Sometimes you'll see that in different places, but this is a pretty improved state park. So they have a lot of amenities here that maybe some of the older state parks don't have. You can see a little playground here. That's probably an old check-in kiosk site. Most typically for Pennsylvania state parks now, all you have to do is go online and make a reservation, and then a park ranger will come to your site the day of your reservation and put a little piece of paper on there, and you pull right in and get yourself all set up. So it's just a little plaque here about some of the history of the park, the east rim of the Pine Creek Gorge. It talks about how the gorge was kind of carved out over 10,000 years ago. Talks about the introduction of humans and the lumber mills that were all up and down this area of Pennsylvania. They would use the river to transport logs down to Williamsport, which was a massive logging town. Actually, one of the wealthiest cities in America at one point in history. Then it talks a little bit more about the deforestation, forest fires, things like that. Some of the different wildlife that we might find here. This is a picture of actually Otter View, which we were just at. And then it also talks about some more of the recreation that you can do. Obviously the bike trail. They have different outfitters that do rafting and tubing and canoeing. This talks a little bit more about Pennsylvania wilds. And then the other side, basically just a park map. Actually an area map, really. So we are right here, and Colton Point is right here. And all this blue is actually considered Tioga State Forest, and it encompasses this whole massive area. And there is so much to do and so much to see. There are several different counties just in Pennsylvania here that encompass Tioga State Forest. So that's definitely something else you may want to look into if you ever come up and visit this way. But I think the rain is about to catch me because it is getting quite cloudy here. So now I'm going to pack up and head into Wellsboro because I am starving, and find a nice place to get maybe an early dinner and then walk around town. So now I am here in the small little town of Wellsboro, and this is the county seat of Tioga County. So a lot of the federal and state government offices are here. The main draw to Wellsboro is their downtown main street, and it is lined with restaurants and shops and these lampposts that kind of line the main street, and they are all gaslit. It's a really cool little town. I'll spin around and let you see it. But a really cute little town. A whole bunch of different little restaurants that you can duck in and out of, and a bunch of little shops. There's a couple hotels here as well. It's a pretty cool example of some architecture that you'll see here in Wellsboro. One of the many churches that are here, but just some beautiful homes here. Again, going back to those logging days, there was a lot of rich families that lived in this town. And here's a great example of a beautiful home. But this whole up and down Main Street is just lined with them, and they go all the way up that way. And then as you come down here, you will pass the Tioga County Courthouse, which is another beautiful building. It's just a really nice little town to walk around after a day of hiking over at the canyon, or if you're camping around the area. It's a great place to come at night for a nice meal. They have a really old school movie theater here as well. So a really cool little town to check out. Nice little look at the county courthouse. And then just across the street here, it's called the Green. but it is kind of this open space, little park here, a couple blocks wide. They do a lot of concerts there in the summer. A lot of community events are done in the green, but there's a couple statues and things like that over there. Nice little spot to hang out. Another really nice church over there. As you can see, they are gearing up for Christmas. I do want to highlight one little restaurant here. It's called The Roost, which is just beyond that road sign there. They were actually just featured on Good Morning America. But in a few weeks after Thanksgiving, this whole downtown area will be transformed, and there will be lots more Christmas decorations, and they have a whole festival here called a Dickens of a Christmas, and it's basically where the whole town kind of transforms into this Charles Dickens time period. And so you have a lot of people that dress up, and a lot of the restaurants participate with different types of food and things like that. So it's a really cool event, brings a lot of people into town. Something to Google if that is something that you might be interested in. Here's probably the well-known hotel here in town. It's called the Penwells. It has a nice sit-down restaurant inside, but it's a very historic hotel. Some rumor that it is haunted, but really cool, nostalgic hotel here. It does have a Historic Hotels of America sign, distinction, I guess. They also have a banquet room, and they do a lot of weddings and events here. Pretty cool little place. And then just down the street is the Arcadia movie theater. It's an old 2-screen movie theater. It still plays movies today. Pretty cool little place. But anyway, this is the main intersection, and last but not least, I do want to mention the Wellsboro Diner. It's a classic car-style diner that's been here for many, many years. It's a very popular breakfast spot. But I'm going to cross the road here and walk back up to the van. Another little view from across the street. Better view of the movie theater and the hotel. It's a pretty cool little spot. But like I said, this town does draw a lot of tourism, especially when people are visiting the Grand Canyon. And it's a really cool place to walk around and hang out after a long day. It was a small little tour of Colton Point State Park, as well as Leonard Harrison State Park, and the small little town of Wellsboro, Pennsylvania. Been ranked pretty consistently as one of the 10 best small towns in Pennsylvania. There's a lot to do here. There's a lot to see. And it's a beautiful little town to explore. Like I said, during the holidays, they have a type festival where everyone dresses up, and that's a really cool event. They do a big Halloween parade here. They're very high school football oriented, so that's a big deal here during the school season. In the summer, it is a lot of visiting tourists, which is always nice. This town really relies on tourism, the financial benefits of people traveling here and visiting and staying here and eating here. But Wellsboro is definitely a very unique town. It is the gateway to the Pennsylvania Grand Canyon. And if you have never been here before, once again, I highly recommend. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I appreciate everybody sticking around till the end and watching. And until I see you on the next tour video, take care.